Well now, isn't this just the strangest little setup, yeah? A room with one light bulb, one mic, and one man who sounds like he breathes through a bloody kettle. I've sat across from some proper madmen in my time, mate. Cutthroats, warlords, bakers with a taste for arsenic. But you're something else entirely. Big fella, built like a cathedral, voice like a sermon wrapped in gravel. I don't know whether to negotiate with you or light a candle. But since we're talking, let's talk. You wear a mask, I wear a hat. Both of us hide things, don't we?
You are perceptive, Mr. Solomons. Beneath your wit I sense unrest, like a man who has dined with chaos and found it lacking in flavor. You speak in riddles, feigning unpredictability. But chaos is not a shield, it is a symptom. I have met men who use humor to hide weakness. I've broken most of them. But you are something else. A wolf in the clothing of a clown. You speak to survive. I speak to end discussion. So speak wisely. This room does not echo forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yeah? Nah, I left that behind with my first bakery fire. What you need to understand, mate, is that I don't speak to survive. I speak because it confuses people. Gives me time to figure out who's going to try and kill me and who's just mad enough to try and understand me. So you're neither. You don't confuse me. You wear your violence like cologne, strong and thick and impossible to ignore. But the thing about men like you is eventually someone stops holding their breath. Then what, eh? You've got no mystery left.
Mystery is a luxury afforded to men with time. I am not here to be enigmatic. I am here to impose will. Men like you speak of confusion as if it is power. But confusion is momentary. Force is final. You dance around threats with clever words, hoping to disguise fear as strategy. I do not dance, Alfie. I do not bargain. I apply pressure until the structure collapses. Then I build in its place. You admire survival. I worship dominance. Therein lies the difference.
Yeah, but see, right, dominance doesn't mean much when you're shouting into rebel. You think breaking things gives you purpose. Me, I prefer bending them. Bit of pressure here, bribe there, and before you know it, the whole city's praying my synagogue, mate. You bring collapse, I build empires out of wreckage. And I do it with a smile, a cigar, and half a plan scrawled on an old bread receipt. Because the trick ain't brute force, Bane, it's belief. And people believe me, even when I lie.
I have no need for smoke and mirrors. When I speak, men listen because they fear what follows if they do not. You cloak yourself in charm to mask your intentions. I wear mine on my back like a spine forged in suffering. You build empires, yes, but you must maintain them. I only need to strike once. The structures I crush remain memories, yours remain targets. A man like me does not worry about legacy. I embody inevitability.
Legacy, right here. That's funny. See, I don't care what they write on my bloody gravestone, mate, long as the ink dries in my favour before I'm in the ground. You keep banging on about inevitability, but that's just a posh way of saying you lack imagination. Me? I find new ways to survive. Change shape, shift sides. I've betrayed men more dangerous than you and lived to drink about it. You're too rigid, yeah? Like a statue carved out of threats. Me, on folk, can't crush fuck.
You compare yourself to fog and call that strength. You move through cracks because you fear confrontation without escape. I do not need exits. I enter a room to end it. Your betrayals are not triumphs, they are debts, and debts always come due. You smile because your enemies underestimate you. I do not. I recognize the venom behind your laughter. But venom still bleeds, and I have bled enough to know how to return the favor.
Listen to me, man. You're poetic, mate. I'll give you that. But see, poetry don't survive war. I've run rackets, food bombed out cities, while people like you gave speeches about fire. You build fear, I build business. And while you're off making rubble, I'm already selling bricks to both sides. You walk into a place and sure, everyone trembles, but when you leave, all that's left is silence. Me? I leave behind stories. Fear fades. Stories, they grow teeth.
And teeth decay, Alfie. Stories rot when told too many times. You speak of commerce as if it holds weight against conviction. I have seen markets crumble under the will of one man, prepared to die for what he believes. That is power. Your world runs on deals. Mine runs on sacrifice. You invest in survival. I invest in collapse. And when the dust settles, the survivor remembers the hand that took, not the one that offered a contract.
Sacrifice, you say? You wear that word like armor, don't you? But I've seen what men give up in the name of conviction, and half the time it's just an excuse to kill louder. You say you don't bargain, but every man trades something. Me? I trade blood for loyalty, lies for leverage. You trade breath for theatrics. And underneath it all, I think you like the sound of your own gospel. Maybe you ain't a warrior, Bane. I ain't got it's to please before it's funny. Maybe you're just a preacher with a death wish and a mask to hide the shaking.
Because you've never believed in anything beyond your own survival. I do not fear death. I walked through it. I was forged in darkness, raised without light, molded in purpose. You mock that because it terrifies you. The idea that someone might move without self-interest. You are clever, Alfie. Dangerous, even. But you are a man who survives by spinning. Eventually, all spinning things lose momentum, and when you fall, you will not know which lie buried you.
You think I don't believe in anything? That's where you're wrong, mate. I believe in leverage, in timing, in saying the thing that saves your skin even if it's not the truth. I've made peace with being a contradiction. That's what keeps me alive. You treat pain like scripture. Like there's meaning in all this madness. But sometimes pain's just pain. And survival ain't cowardice. It's bloody smart.
And yet, smart men still die, often with clever words on their lips and a knife in their back. I do not seek meaning in pain, I seek transformation. Pain changes men, breaks them, or rebuilds them stronger. I use it to shape destiny. You use it as currency. But currency burns, and when the last deal is done, and your mouth can buy you nothing more, I will remain, not because I outwitted the world, but because I endured it.
Endurance ain't everything, mate. Sometimes all you need is one breath, one lie, one well-placed word to tilt the scales. You fight with fists, I fight with futures. And when your mask cracks and your gospel runs dry, the people won't remember your sermons. They'll remember the man who whispered a deal through bloody teeth and walked away laughing.
Then laugh while you can. But when the city turns to ash and names vanish from lips, they will remember the man who stood unbent. I do not whisper, I declare. I do not negotiate, I decide. And when your final clever word falls silent, I will still be standing, unmoved, unbroken, necessary.